Question 1. Umax Berhad is a company that involved in the business of manufacturing speaker for a home theatre company. The company has 3 production centers, namely assembly, machining, and finishing department, and 2 service centers, namely canteen and store. The basis used for assembly and machining department is machine hours, and finishing department the basis used is direct labor hours. This is the budgeted overhead for the year ended 30 June 2020 is as follows. The task is to prepare an overhead analysis sheet showing the cost allocation, apportionment, and reapportionment of overhead for the 5 departments using the repeated distribution method. To get the total overhead allocation and apportionment, we need to do the cost apportionment first. For example, to get the rent and rate for each department, we must take the floor area for each department divided by total floor area times the value of rent. Second, to get the supervision cost for each department, we must take the number of employee divided by total employee times the value of supervision cost. Third, to get the maintenance cost for each department, we must take the machine value divided by total machine value times maintenance cost. Fourth, to get the electricity cost for each department, we must take the floor area for each department divided by total area times electricity cost. Lastly, to get the insurance of machine for each department, we must take the machine value divided by total machine value times the total value of insurance of machine. Next, to do the cost reapportionment for each department, we will take the basis of number of employees for canteen and number of material requisition for store. This is repetitive step until the value reduces to zero for the service cost center. Once we have completed overhead analysis sheet, we need to prepare overhead absorption rate for cost production center. On budgeted basis, the assembly and finishing department apply the budgeted labor hours, while the machining department apply the budgeted machine hour. Once we have the solution estimated for the overhead cost, we compare to the actual overhead incurred during 30 June 2022 to get the overhead absorption cost. For assembly department, the calculated overhead based on actual activity is ringgit. Hence, the amount is actually under observation of overhead by RM 261. Second, for machining department, the calculated overhead based on actual activity is 162,350. Hence, the amount is actually over absorption of overhead by RM 116,640. And lastly, for department finishing, the calculated overhead based on actual activity is 178,400. Hence, the amount is actually under observation of overhead by 55,340.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. So, I will answer the question for question 2 and question 3. So, let's we go. Let me start. Question 2A. The question asked me about cost per unit under full absorption costing. Mission setup cost 26,550. Mission running cost 66,400. Procurement cost 48,000. Delivery cost 54,320. So the total 195,270 ringgit. How about overhead absorption rate? We have 3 product A, product B, and product C. So we start with production volume for product A. We got 50,000. For product B, we got 20,000. For product C, we got 80,000. How about labor hour per unit? For product A, 0.1. For product B, 0.15. For product C, 0.2. Total labor hours for product A are 1,500. For product B are 1,800. For product C are 3,600. So the total overall are 6,900. Therefore, overhead the absorption rate are RM 195,270 ringgit divided by 6,900, and we got 28 ringgit and 30 cent per hours. Okay, cost per unit for product A, B, and C. We start from raw material, which is RM 1 ringgit and 20 cent times by 2 or 3 or 4 kg. For product A, we got 2.4. For product B, we got 3.6. And for product C, we got 4.8. So the direct labor RM 40 ringgit and 80 cent times by 0.1 or 0.15 or 0.2 hours. For product A, we got 1.48. For product B, we got 2.22. For product C, we got 2.96. How about overhead? RM 28 ringgit and 30 cent times by 0.1 or 0.50 or 0.2 hours. For product A, we got 2.83. For product B, we got 4.26. For product C, we got 5.66. So, the full cost per unit for product A, we got 6.71. For product B, we got 10.07. And for product C, we got 30.42. Question 2B. Cost per unit using ABC costing. Cost per which mention setup cost, we got 26,550. For cost driver, we got 36 production runs, which is 60 plus 12 plus 8. Machine running cost, we got 66,400. Cost driver 32,100 machine hours. So we got 7,500 plus 8,400 plus 16,200. Procurement cost, we got 48,000. So the cost driver, we got 94 purchase order, which is 24 plus 28 plus 42. So the delivery cost, we got 54,320 ringgit. For cost driver, we get 140 deliveries, which is 48 plus 30 plus 62. So the overall are 195,270 ringgit. So cost the permission set up for, we get 36,550 divided by 36, and the cost driver we got RM 737 minus by 50. So the cost per mentioned hours, we got 66,400 divided by 32. So the cost driver, we got 100, which is RM to 20,685. Okay, we go to overhead to each product. For product A, B, and C, let's we start with machine setup cost. For product A, we got 11,800. For product B, we got 8,850. For product C, we got 5,900. So the total we got still same, 26,550. The machine cost for product A, we got 50,540. For product B, we got 70,375 ringgit. For product C, we got 33,510. So the total are 66,400. For procurement cost for product A, we got 12,255 ringgit. For product B, we got 40,298 ringgit. For product C, we got 24,056 ringgit. So the total we got 54,320. So the number of unit produced for product A 50,000, for product B 12,000, For product C, we got 80,000. The overhead cost per unit for product A, 3.88, for product B, 4.35, for product C, 4.72. The material for product A we got 2.4, for product B we got 3.6, for product C we got 4.8. The labor for product A we got 1.48, for product B we got 2.22, for product C we got 2.96. So the overhead for product A, uh, for product A we got 3.88, for product B we got 4.35, for product C we got 4.72. Question 2, Part C. Using activity-based costing when comparing the full unit cost for each other of the product under absorption costing as compared to A, B, and C. The following observation can be made for product A, B, and C. So let's recheck. Product A. The unit cost for product A is 60% higher under ABC as opposed to traditional absorption costing. Under A, B, and C, it is RM7 and 76% per unit compared to RM6 and 71 cents under traditional costing. This is very practically significant given that the selling price for product A is RM7 and 50 cents per unit. This means that when the activity that give rise to the overhead cost for product A are taken into account, product A is actually making a loss. If the company wants to improve profitability, it should look to either increase the selling price of product A or somehow reduce the cost. Delivery costs are also high, with 48 delivery a year being made for product A. So maybe the company could see a further efficiency here, and also machine setup costs are also higher for product A than for any of the other products. Due to the large number of production runs, the reason for this needs to be identified, and if possible, the number of production runs need to be reduced. Product B. The difference between the activity-based cost for product B as opposed to the traditional cost is quite small, being only 10 cent ringgit, since the selling price for product B are RM12 ringgit. Product B is very clearly profitable whichever method of overhead allocation is used. Product A, B, and C doesn't really identify any area for concern here. How about product C? Product C, the unit cost for product C is 7% lower under A, B, C when compared to traditional costing. More importantly, while product C looks like it is making a loss under traditional costing, because A, B, S tells a different story. The selling price for product C are RM30 ringgit per unit, and under A, B, C is cost RM12 ringgit and 48 cents per unit. So under traditional absorption costing for product C is making a loss of for about 42 cents per unit. Identifying the reason for the difference in product C, it is apparent that the number of production runs required to produce product C is relatively low compared to the volume produced. This leads to a lower apportionment of the machine setup cost to product C than would be given under traditional absorption costing. Similarly, the number of product tests carried out on product C is low relative to its volume. So the ABC is therefore very useful in identifying that product C is actually more profitable than product A. Because of the reason identified above, the company needs to look at the efficiency that seems to be achieved which product C can be made to product A to bring it more in line with product C. Of course, this may not be possible, in which case the company may consider whether it wishes to continue to produce product A and whether it could sell higher volume for product C. And now we go to question 3, which is same person is me, Siti Hidayamza. So let's we check it. The question asks me for explain the implementation problem often experience when ABC is first introduction. Okay, actually there are many problems with ABC. So, one, first, lack of understanding. ABC is not fully understood by many managers and therefore is not fully accepted as a means of cost control. Second, difficulty in identifying cost driver. In a practical context, there are frequently difficult in identifying the appropriate driver. For example, property costs are often significant and yet a single driver is a difficult to find. Last, three, lack of appropriate accounting records. ABC needs a new set of accounting records. This is often not immediately available and therefore resistant to change requirements. So, the setting up of new cost pool is needed, which is time consuming. Question 3, Part B. The question asks me to explain the following terms. So let's be check. What is cost allocation? Cost allocation when the item of cost are identifiable directly with some product or department such as costs are charged to cost center. This process is also known as cost allocation. It is the charging of discrete identifiable item of cost to cost center of cost. Product on logical or equitable basis is called allocation, where a cost can be clearly identified with a cost center or cost unit generic can be allocated to that particular cost center or unit. Allocation is the process by which cost items are charged directly to a cost unit or cost center. Cost allocation calls for two basic factors. One, concerned department or product should have cost. The cost to be incurred. Two, exact amount of cost should be computable. We have five methods adopted for cost absorption. 1. Direct material cost percentage. 2. Direct labor cost percentage. 3. Prime cost percentage. 4. Direct labor hour rate method. And last, 5. Machine hour rate. Accurate absorption will help in arriving at accurate cost of production. So the overhead are indirect costs and hence they are number difficult in charging the overhead to the Last question they ask me to Discuss any five difference between activity-based costing and traditional costing for overhead computation. So let's we go through. Alright, here we have five different for activity-based costing versus traditional costing. Let's we go for which first. Primary focus. For activity-based costing, they focus use multiply cost driver for multiply activity. How about traditional costing? They focus use identical cost driver for different activity. Second, application for activity-based costing. They apply is very difficult to implement and require time and effort. How about traditional costing is straightforward and easy to implement. 3. Scope. For activity-based costing, they cover product cost only. How about traditional costing? They can cover both product as well as period costs. For activity-based costing, for management use, the value can be used in external financial statement. How about traditional costing? The value cannot be used in reports of external reporting. And the last, effectiveness of operation for activity-based costing. A change management knowledge about activity related to production process. And how about traditional costing? They doesn't not provide opportunity to identify any specific reason for cost inquiry. So that's